awesome dudes with me. Conan from Exmortus, Tony from Hellfire. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good today.
Yeah.
Today,
Tony, what's up, man? I got two shredders in their own right. These motherfuckers. I don't know if I could cuss online, but these dudes shred the guitar like no tomorrow. And we toured together. We did North American tour last year in 2019. We took Exmortus and Hellfire out, and I thought I'd bring these guys on, just have a little chit chat and catch up and see what's going on. So, first of all, it's good to see you guys. I miss you. And what are you guys doing during this pandemic? I'm just curious.
You want to hit it first, Conan?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I just been working at a supermarket. I'm essential.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to boast that,
Yeah.
You gotta be proud of something this year.
Yeah, totally.
But just been working, giving lessons on the side, and just writing new tunes. But taking my time with that. But it's pretty much it. It's okay. It's an okay year.
Yeah, same here. Just been working. When we're not touring and we're not playing, I'm plumbing. So I'm a plumber. So that's also essential.
Very essential, yes.
Yeah, so I've been kind of busier than ever in that sense. And besides that, yeah, just playing, writing a lot, and kind of like getting my little home studio set up together, because I figured now's the perfect time to just start demoing everything we're putting together. So when we are ready to go to the studio, we just have like boatloads of material,
Yeah, stay ahead of the game, which is really good. Now, with Exmortus, with you two, you guys are pretty young cats. Now, I'm going to touch base on your bands. I was reading your bio, Conan, and it said that your dad took you to your first show when you were what, 5th grade or something? Like 5 years old?
I think I was pretty young. I think it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I remember I just started elementary. I don't know what year, but he took me to my uncle's death metal band's show. Yeah,
The whiskey,
yeah. And it was crazy. I was a little kid. I don't know, I guess I saw videos and stuff at the time, but I wasn't really into metal. I was more into just, I don't know, just rock, whatever's on the radio. And he took me to that show, and it was very very awesome. I never experienced anything like that, and I think that just stuck with me since then, just wanting to be a part of that kind of atmosphere and everything. So yeah, it was insane as a 5-year-old.
Wow. And Tony, you guys have similar, both have dads who are really supportive. Now, did your dad take you to your first show too?
Yeah, both our dads also have our Papa Mortis and Papa Hellfire.
Right, yeah.
Right on, man. Now, Tony, did your dad take you to your first show as well?
Yeah, my show was Blue Oyster Cult at Slim's.
Wow.
Which that's one of the last shows, and it was cool to kind of close it out with the last show we played there.
Yeah.
But that was like it. I was already a fan of Blue Oyster Cult when I was younger and stuff. Just they were in a lot of BMX videos and stuff like that, and I knew the songs, but that kind of said it right there. I was just everything about it.
Now, you were, what, 5 years old or elementary? How old were you when you saw Blue Oyster Cult, Tony?
I was a little older than that. I'd say, I kind of forget. It was somewhere in middle school.
Wow.
I've seen music played live and stuff before, but going to like a real venue and seeing like a real band that I knew of, that was huge.
Yeah. Now, were your parents really supportive of, like, when you guys started your own band, they were like really gung ho about it, like, all right, you got to keep doing this, keep going and whatnot?
Yeah, for me, my dad, as soon as I saw Blue Oyster Cult, and then I started getting more into it. We started going to the Pound a lot in San Francisco, and then I wanted a guitar, So my dad bought me one of those little Yamaha kits with the little crate amp, and I had first I didn't know how to plug it in. I didn't know anything, man. I didn't know. I thought for the first week, I thought you were supposed to put your fingers like on the metal part of the frets.
Oh, okay.
I was like, God, this is so hard. And then I started learning, and then it took me another 6 months to figure out that there was a little distortion button on the amp.
And you figured it out.
Playing and cleaning,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, this is not heavy enough, man.
Super supportive though for us. I mean, we were first parts of my bands growing up. I was in some punk bands and stuff like that. And even beginning parts of Hellfire, it was like us practicing in a dining room at my parents' house. Like my mom would be in the bedroom right next to us, and we would just be cranked. Like,
How about you, Conan? When you formed Exmortus, you were 12, right? I think you were 12 when you formed Exmortus.
Oh, yeah, I was 12, about 12. I was in middle school, and I started with my cousin Mario, former drummer of Exmortus, but he started playing guitar. I started playing guitar at the time too. But when I started to learn, I was playing bass for some reason. I don't know. My dad told us, hey, it's better, you could play, one instrument, you play the other, sound fuller, and it did. So at a young age, me and him started to just, learn from each other, learn, to be on time with another member and everything. So, which is very important. Stay on time, But we started the band Exmortus. I was 12, I think. So that was 2002. Wow. And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We still don't. We just got a better idea.
I don't think we all know what we're doing. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Everyone feels that way. But we were pretty young, and we just formed the band with other friends at the school, and of course in high school, carried on to then too. And man, we had so many lineup changes. It's always been me and Mario, throughout the years. But we've evolved a lot too because of all the members, contributing different styles and ideas. So yeah, that's why we're all fucked up. We can't even categorize ourselves so well. But we started pretty young. I think that was those were good times.
Oh, dude, I bet. Tony, you guys were young too, and like Conan, I know you guys been through some lineup changes as well, and you kind of evolved to what you guys are now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we had a lot. It was me and Herman in the beginning. Herman moved up. Herman originally moved to LA from Tijuana. He was in LA for a year, and he hated it down there, and he basically caught a bus up to San Francisco because of the Bay Area thrash scene he heard about.
Yeah.
Back then it was always surfing Craigslist or going to shows, trying to find somebody interested in it, So Herman had a Craigslist ad out. We met up, started jamming. Like first two songs he played on bass were like, it was like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner and something else. And I was like, all right, sweet, we got it. And then
you're in.
Those first like 4 or 5 years, we went through a couple changes. We had our original singer Alex with us, and it was good. It's a good learning process and all that. But when it came to kind of taking it to the next level and stuff, a lot of those guys just really couldn't do that. They couldn't tour. They just other life. And at that time, Jake, we'd known Jake and Mike for a while, so we used to play with their band Hysteria a lot, and they were kind of going through the same thing with Hysteria, a lot of lineup changes and stuff like that. And then, asked Jake to come on, and then Jake came on, and we did the first record with Jake, Metal Masses, and he was just singing on that record. He wasn't playing guitar on that one. And then after that one, our drummer Art and our other guitarist John left the band, and then it was just kind of like, all right, you down to come back, Mike? Or you down to come over too, Mike? And then Jake, you down to just pick up guitar? Since that's usually what Jake would be playing guitar in practice anyway. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So the lineup you have now, that's the lineup. Right?
That's the real lineup,
Now, Conan, you weren't the original singer of Exmortus, right?
No. I just started off playing, I guess, shred guitar.
Yeah.
But, it was until I think after the first album that our singer he quit, and we were trying out other singers to continue the band and everything, but we couldn't find anyone that did what we wanted them to do. Like they weren't cutting it. It wasn't part of the vision we had. So I was like, fuck it, we have this. I'll just suck it up and give it a shot, because it's one less person to worry about,
Yeah.
So I tried out at first. It was a rough start for me. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I still don't, but getting better at it little by little, you know. And yeah, I love it. I fell in love with just doing that. It was a great challenge for me, and it still is. And yeah, it's something I like to do. I can't see myself in Exmortus any other way.
Yeah.
You know, I really like just to be, you know, singing the lyrics and just jamming the riffs. I feel like that's right for me, and I always write with that in mind, you know, what I'm going to be doing like that immediately. So yeah, I think I chose right.
Good. I mean, you guys shred. Now, I want to talk about, now this is a no shredding allowed. It's kind of a twist, but I want to talk about your guitar, not only your guitar playing, but your guitar heroes. Like, who is your go-to guy? Like the guy that goes, all right, this is who the first guitar player you saw where you go, that's it. That's who I want to be.
For me, the first one that really that left a huge impression on me would be Randy Rhoads. Naturally, I mean, it's kind of obvious that you always use the Randy Rhoads V's on stage.
Yeah.
Exmortus.
And I could hear a lot of Randy Rhoads in your playing, definitly.
Yeah, I love.
Is it because of the his classical work? Because you're a big fan of classical.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and at the time, I loved classical music as a kid from watching Fantasia and shit. And,
okay. Woo!
And, classical radio. So when I heard that you could do that on guitar, mind you, I didn't know about Yngwie at the time, of course, but I had never heard that in like rock and roll or in heavy metal. So I was, you know, pretty inspired by that, and I try to do that with my own riffs and stuff. And yeah, man, he's my go-to. I mean, honestly, any Aussie guitarist is my go-to, you know, for licks and whatnot. But yeah, for sure, Randy was my first.
Tony.
Same. I'm in the same boat, man.
Yeah. See, you guys walk similar paths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, it was Randy. Like you were saying, from when I was a little kid, I was always a big fan of classical music, and when I don't know, everything about Randy's playing, you know, like the first time I connected with like Revelation's Mother Earth, like the end part of that song was just said everything, you know, and just how much he was able to do in such a short time, and like the dedication, because I've just I bought every magazine that had Randy on it. I read every article, you know, like the dedication of him, like talking about being on tour with Ozzy and trying to track down like people to like take lessons from on tour and like further his playing and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, Randy Rhoads. I mean, same thing. I mean, if I would ask Rob Cavastani, that's his go-to guy too, you know, and a lot of people like Phil Demmel and everyone, and I could hear it all in their playing. Now with Randy Rhoads, that kind of opened up a whole new thing for you, like you discovered Yngwie and all the other greats that come after.
Yeah, with Yngwie, I was like, I still am on an Yngwie binge because I resort to a lot of his licks as well. His stuff is I guess similar, right? It's like a different aspect of classical on the guitar. Of course, he plays a lot faster and utilizes certain techniques a little more often than I guess say Randy would. But yeah, that also pushed me to, you know, learn more and, you know, shred more. So he's also at fault for why I can't stop noodling.
Yeah. Now, speaking of noodling, when you guys both of you, when you guys first started, were you one of those dudes like when you picked up the guitar and all of a sudden you're like, this is what I want. I know what I'm doing. Like, did you guys spend hours in your bedroom, like 8 hours a day and all that stuff?
Oh yeah,
a lot. Yeah, I did. At least I did. I don't know about you, Tony, but I spent
for sure, man. I was just at my computer. Like for me, yeah, it was picking it up, and then it was like, oh, this hurts. This sucks at first, and then after, I think the big one for me is I learned how to play the intro to the AC/DC song "Hard as a Rock."
Okay.
But I taught myself how to read the tabs, you know. And once that just set it off, because I was like, oh, now I know, because I didn't really get lessons for the first couple of years. So once I did that, it was kind of like a path, like, you know, what can I hear where I think I can play this? So like I played that the intro's like for that song like 5 seconds long. I probably played that thing for like 2 months straight. My brother would come into my room screaming at me like, "You need to learn something else!" Like, so mad.
How about you, Conan? I mean, you were in just your bedroom like constantly, just 8 hours a day, just shredding. We're trying to figure things out, huh?
Instead of doing homework, I was just playing guitar, you know.
So I mean,
I did my
do you guys learn things by ear, or do you guys just tablature?
I mean, back then definitely I tried to. My dad forced me to as well. He bought me like tab books for songs that I wanted to learn. And mind you, this is like before the internet was as accessible as it is now. So it was just buying tab books or Guitar World or whatever. And he would say like, "We'll figure it out. Like, figure the song out. I'm not going to buy it for you. Come on, you could do it." And he would make me learn songs by ear. And I was right, more or less. Not really. We all make mistakes. We all hear like something and it's like really not bad. Now I know. It's funny. That's funny you mentioned that, because now I'm relearning songs with tabs that from people that have better ears than me, and I'm like, shit, I've been playing it wrong this whole time.
Wow.
So yeah, but yeah, I learned by ear at first. Now I still practice that, but lately I, of course, because of convenience, just look up the fucking tabs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those players. I mean, I'm more of a rhythm player. I love, holding it down like, Malcolm Young, Het, and like even Scott Ian, for example. But the way I learn songs is I'll listen to it. Then if someone goes, let me show you the riffs. I already know the arrangements in my head because I've listened to it so many times. So I could pick up songs so quickly. If someone just said, "All right, you know the song? Yeah, here's the riff. Here's 4 riffs. I know the arrangements. I know the changes. It's easy." I mean, that's how I, play guitar. I don't know, but you guys seem to know like, oh yeah, that shit's in A minor and it's part of the fucking inverted pentatonic scale type shit that I don't understand. But anyways, you guys have been around for a while. You guys are part of the whole new scene, and you guys are brought up in the internet world, where I came up in the non-internet world. I mean, do you guys use internet to your advantage?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. For example, like looking up tabs. I mean, well, at first, because we started pretty young, right? Tony and I, we started young, so we had some internet access here and there. But even then, like, people didn't really upload reliable tablature till more recently. Ultimate Guitar or whatever.
Yep.
And there's new software that makes it easier to tab and play back and play along to, like Guitar Pro or what is it, Tabit. There's other stuff too. There's other programs, but yeah, there's a lot of shit nowadays that is so much more convenient. That's probably why there's so many more shredders now. At least bedroom shredders or whatever. There's a lot of, you hear them. They're everywhere now. So yeah, that's totally being used to everyone's advantage now. So
yeah, Tony.
Yeah, same. I use especially like you're saying, Conan, especially since like YouTube came out and that started blowing up. Like I have a group of guys that I just stumble onto, and I subscribe to their channels, and they just put out rad little like lessons or exercises, and then I like their playing, so I'll just be like, okay, cool, he's got a new video out. Like I follow this guy Chris Zupa, and I don't know, there's a bunch of people that just like, it's a good way to just improve my playing and stuff like that. And like you're saying with like Ultimate Guitar, I go on that side a lot, and I'll use that because say if you're just learning a song for fun or something, like from learning some Randy solo, I'll go on Ultimate Guitar, and then you go on the Guitar Pro tabs, and then you can just like, when you're learning a song, just take the song down to 80% the speed, and just loop solo section and just go for it, So I do that a lot when I'm practicing and learning stuff.
All right. Before, I'm going to ask you guys one more question, and there's a couple of there's a video question someone submitted in that I want to play for you guys, and there's a one question here. Do you guys, when you first started, I know you were doing many hours of jamming. Do you guys still do that to this day, or are you kind of like, I'm all right. I'll instead of 8, I'll do 3.
Well, if I could, I would. I guess just from working and stuff, I could only do so much. And other times I'm like, I'd rather just do something else real quick, So now, yeah, definitely nowadays I do an hour, 2 hours at most.
Wow,
Actually,
okay.
on the road I do more because not just from playing, but it's from just warming up. Sometimes I'm just jamming for 2 hours before our fucking set because why not? When I'm off, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, the road, man. Time and day goes out the window when you're on tour. You guys know that. You go, what else am I gonna do? So I might as well just sit here and noodle and all that. So here, I'm gonna play you this video question real quick, and
Cool.
let's see if I'm gonna share my screen. All right, here we go.
Hey, what's up, Ted, Conan, and Tony? My name's Knox. I had a question for all of you about when it comes to touring with other bands, how often do you get inspired by the kind of material that the other bands are playing on the tour? Like when you go into the studio to record another record or an EP, how often do you start to see a little bit of the other bands that you were touring with in the material? And does it help to have a overall thematic idea record about what you want the whole album to sound like, or does the thematic elements of an album ever get influenced by another band that you tour with? All right, thanks. Rock on.
Question. Yeah, for me, I like. Well, we always tour with a bunch of different style, bands. Like, some of them are extremely death metal, or like, well, Obituary, the old school death metal, and then other bands are just tech death metal, and some are black metal-ish, heavy metal, like Hellfire is more traditional, and all this stuff, thrash. I like to pick up a lot from everyone. I think I've always naturally had that. That's not style. I mean, like, approach, because I like all kinds of music and from the beginning. But yeah, touring with those bands, I notice certain things that are very effective in the music, and I try to emulate that with my own every time. Oh, absolutely. It's hard not to do that. I like to stay true to myself in certain ways, but definitely I listen to the bands that we tour with, and there's always something I like a lot from everyone that we jam with. So yeah, that's my response.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go the same route. I mean, I still have both your guys' sets burned into my mind from that tour.
Likewise, both of you guys.
Yeah.
I know like where you would be on stage still, and like certain things, and like definitely, especially when you're touring with bands that you like their music and then you like them as people too. It just it just becomes part of you. Like you can't help it, Like when we're touring, I basically watch both of you guys every night, just because it was great. And it just, totally influences you and gives you inspiration. And, it's hard not to have any of that rub off on you.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. Not only musically, but vibe-wise, sometimes just hanging out, the personality, just even talking about non-music stuff. Like we could just talk about, we could be BSing, and that could be an influence, that channels into the music. And really for me, like when Death Angel writes the record, I don't really hear things until after, when you get the final master copy and you go, oh, dude, that sounds like so-and-so. Because, when you're writing a record, you're so engrossed into writing and you're not thinking about anything else. So you're like, then afterwards, I remember one album, I go, oh dude, Will, you kind of did that Voivod drum beat there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you don't hear it until after. But yeah, I think we all pick up something from every band, whether it's death metal, thrash metal, black metal. You pick up something, not only musically, but, there's something you go, oh, that's cool. And it just goes in your head and you don't even know it. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. You got a friend of mine told me, like, the mind's like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open.
That's true.
Yeah.
I hope it does. Yeah.
Same here. Hey, there's another question from Mike Daly. Here it is. How important is classic rock to you guys? Do lead players like Scott Gorham, Brian Robertson, Jimmy Page, Fast Eddie, Schenker, Hendrix influence you guys?
Me, completely. For me, I'm a big classic rock man. I mean, Thin Lizzy's like up there as my favorite band, and Schenker is one of my favorite guitar players ever, you know. So that's a lot of the stuff I honestly play a lot, where my writing kind of comes like in the band. I write a lot of kind of more classic rock, new wave of like British heavy metal groovy stuff. Like that's kind of where I excel more, where Jake's got an incredible right hand, and he can just, you know, he's just a thrash metal guitar player. Like he's so good. And we kind of bring both those together in Hellfire, and that's kind of where I think it helps out our band a lot. And I like the dynamics of that. But me, I mean, I jam classic rock stuff all the time. and Tara, my fiance, she likes it when I'm playing that stuff a bit more too. There's 8 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How about you, Conan?
Yeah, likewise. And I will speak for the rest of the band. I think all of us, especially the current lineup, previous mocks as well, you know, we all love, not like the classic stuff. That was everyone's like first favorite band was, you know, fucking, speaking for everyone, like either Led Zeppelin's, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, what else? AC/DC, Scorpions, early Scorpions, stuff like that. But yeah, that's very important to us, because I always find myself listening to all the classic shit like all the time. I mean, I listen to new music too, but like I'm always like, I gotta listen to the classic stuff. It's like a religion. It's a ritual. I have to listen to an old album from the 70s once a day. Something, you know, I have to. It's awesome. There's always something great in those records. You know, I guess production wise, but of course musically, you know, from the guitars, you know, speaking of guitarists and stuff, like with Richie Blackmore, I'm still trying to nail his style, because it's so like weird and sporadic and like it's just hypnotizing. So I feel like I lack that. So I'm always trying to like learn from that, you know, from old records even. It's just crazy. But yeah, definitely I need the old music.
Now
I worship it.
Now let's step away from some metal and rock here. Do you guys listen to any other music that you incorporate into your band? Just say like pop, hip hop, or anything?
Yeah. My girlfriend loves Lady Gaga, so I have to love Lady Gaga too, I guess. So
I mean, I think Lady Gaga is a really talented
great
individual. You know?
Yeah, I know. It's just yeah, there's stuff in her music that's pretty, you know, interesting, and not just hers, but a lot of pop music. There's a lot of cool stuff you could learn from, because, you know, there's a reason why people love that shit. Of course, it's radio play. It's many factors, but they use a lot of effective I don't know, what do you call them, techniques or whatever, you know, things that we could use in heavy metal as well. And, you know, I think the 80s did that especially, right? All the glam bands. It was pretty much the pop, you know, era of metal. At least those bands did it. But yeah, there's something always effective in pop music at the time. So nowadays, I don't know, I haven't really been listening to too many modern pop songs except whatever's on the radio when I'm working and shit. And to me, it's mostly just annoying. There's a lot of annoying things I don't like about, you know, a lot of modern stuff. But again, maybe it's just the radio, and it's annoying because I hear it all the fucking time. So I'm sure there's a lot more stuff out there we could learn from, pop wise.
How about not modern day pop, but like 80s pop?
Oh, 80s stuff. Yeah. My parents were into like the, you know, the new wave stuff, and they spin that shit all the time. And, you know, I like a lot of it. You know, there's a lot of catchy shit. You know, you can't go wrong with something that's catchy and you know, that you could borrow into heavy metal and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of old shit that I'm down for. You know, disco. I like disco. It's very, you know, yeah. I mean, I'm not like into it. I guess I don't know all the artists at the time, but I always appreciate it because it's very orchestral. You hear like all the violins and all these instruments in the thick texture, and it's always upbeat, and I just love that. You know, it's great. I love it.
Tony?
Yeah, man, same. I listen to a pretty decent amount of like outlaw country.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Stuff like Hank Jr., you know, just anything from that era. Especially when we're touring and I'm driving, I'm just like always got that stuff on, you know. And I mean, we in Hellfire, we all listen to a big mix of everything. Like in our group text, it's like, you know, Jake, Mike, and Herman, we're always sending new albums on YouTube or something, or Herman's got some classical pieces he's like really into. Jake's like, Jake and Mike know so much more than of me of what's going on in modern hip hop, and like, but good stuff, you know. And it does. I'm sure it does bleed into our songwriting, especially on my side, because if anything, if it's a good song, it's a good song, you know. Like, especially in like the old outlaw country stuff, it's like it just follows the same formula, you know. Here's a verse, here's a chorus, here's a key change. All right, let's wrap it up. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I asked, because we all like other music other than metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, like, I mean, for a lack of a better term, because I don't really like this term, what would be your guilty pleasure group artist?
Guilty pleasure. Ooh. I don't know.
I mean, it's not guilty if you like it. I mean,
No,
music,
of course
you know
not.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I say a lack of a better term.
I'm trying to something that I would feel guilty for, and I got no regrets.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know you guys got them. We all do.
I know. Oh man, I can't. I'm trying to think. There's a couple. It's not even guilty. There's a couple things that we'll put on sometimes. Then when we're driving, that I know Herman will just be like, "God damn it, you fuckers!" You know? Oh man,
That would be.
that's what I'm trying to go at.
Well, for sure, I dig a lot of Indian pop music, and I know you know this, Tony. We blasted that shit all tour.
Nocturne, man.
Right
Yeah.
on, man. Was it? What do they call it? It's not K-pop because that's Korean pop. So you like Indian pop?
Yeah, I forgot the name. There's like there's a whole
Hollywood
scene
pop.
there, of course, and it's just so many different. I don't know the names. I don't speak Hindi or Urdu or whatever language they're singing, but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. I dig it. It's catchy and it's it's upbeat. It's easy to get into, and I just don't understand the words really.
But you like the catchiness of it.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's lively,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cool things going on in the music. So why not? I know the other guys probably get annoyed every time I put on some Indian pop stuff, but I love it.
Yeah, like you said, it's probably seeping into your body, and it's just gonna come out in your music some way.
On the music watch,
Yeah.
you'll see.
Yeah.
I listen. It's probably growing up racing motocross and stuff like that. I listen to a good amount of like pop punk or SoCal punk, whatever it would be called. So I listen to a lot. I totally listen to a lot of like fat record bands. Like I listen to a bunch of NoFX and like Face to Face and all that kind of stuff. Just because it puts you in a good mood.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Different stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, music speaks to people in a lot of different ways. Hey, there's this question that came in, and it's probably one of these big questions. I remember when Death Angel did a fan Q&A, we were asked this question, and it stumped everyone in the band. So I'm going to ask you guys this question.
Cool.
It's coming from Brian. Priest or Maiden?
Oh, why? Why do you do this to us?
Priest or Maiden?
I gotta go Maiden, man. Come on.
I know Conan's having a hard time.
I have a hard time.
It is hard. I mean, you can't. In the short run, you can't. I end up having to go Maiden because they're the ones that just I learned how to write harmonies because of them. And it's just I was drawn to that when I first picked up guitar, and then I I really fell in love with the old Priest stuff, all that kind of stuff. But it's like, I mean, Priest is heavy metal and Maiden is Maiden,
Conan.
It's hard to pick. I mean, because if they affected me differently, of course. They both have a similar setup. Lead singer that's phenomenal, and then two dual lead guitarists. And except Maiden has an awesome bassist. So that's definitely a point extra for Maiden.
Yeah.
And I did learn, how to write melodies because of them, same as you said, Tony, because the way they wrote is, it's very straightforward, but it's so effective, and it's easy to pick up by ear. It's catchy. So yeah, I definitely, that stuck with me as a kid when I first listened to the records. But with Priest, it was probably a little different. Like, I guess maybe what first got my attention was their technicality. Maybe like when I first heard Painkiller, I was just blown the fuck away. I didn't know what the fuck to take from that, because you know Halford's singing constantly in falsetto, which I guess I had not heard at the time, and you know all the sweep arpeggios you hear with during the solo section. It's like, dude, this is crazy. Like I had known Breaking the Law and other shit, Metal Gods, just more rockin' tunes, and then I hear this. This is like thrashy-ish speed. This is speed metal and fucking shred. It's crazy. So I don't know. I can't decide.
You got to pick one. I'll make it easier for you guys. If I had to pick one, I'd go with Priest. I love them both, but I don't know. Priest they have more a variety of styles.
That's true. That's true.
Maiden
changed too, but Priest they evolved so much, and they it's a little different. So Priest did change a lot more.
Yeah, they have like their catalog almost reminds me of Thin Lizzy. How like you go from like just from Vagabond like all the way up to Renegade, and just like I feel like Thin Lizzy has an album for every mood that you're in, and Priest has that too. Like the early stuff is like nice and fuzzy and just warm, and like the songwriting's awesome. Like just songs there's no other songs really like that. And then you get into Painkiller and all that kind of stuff, and it's just that just changes everything.
Yeah, it's a hard question, but I knew I was gonna stump you guys with that, especially Conan. I know with Tony, he knew. Yeah, Maiden. I can just tell already. With you guys, it was with Conan. I knew it was gonna stump you from a guitar standpoint. Yeah, I mean,
it depends on my mood too. Like sometimes, some years I'm like, yeah, Maiden's better. Some years I'm like, Priest is better. So right now, I don't know. Can't decide.
I'll give you one from my end, and this should be a lot easier for you guys to answer.
Yeah.
Metallica or Megadeth?
Oh, that's tough for me too, man. For very different reasons as well, man. Metallica has, dude, just okay. I think there's more pros for Metallica. I think, because essentially the songwriting it's just overall more effective. I guess it's a lot, more neat and more appealing and more
digestible.
Yeah. So, but with Megadeth, he's like Dave was saying, I love his riffing and how he sings and plays all this shit at the same time. So he was one of the first, how do you say, like when I was learning to play guitar and sing at the same time, I would learn a lot of Megadeth riffs to practice that, because it's hard. He plays riffs that don't match the vocal patterns. So that's so I don't understand how he did it at the time. So I practiced that to get that down. And not just that, but Marty fucking Friedman, like, come on. So I'm still stuck there. For me, those two reasons they haven't matched for me.
I stumped you again too, Conan. How about you, Tony? I know I have a feeling what Tony's gonna pick. So
yeah. I mean, it's like you said. There is no better, but I mean, for me, it's Metallica, just because like so much of my playing came from that band. Especially when you're starting out, I think their songs are more approachable.
Yeah, totally.
And I've learned so much. Like we did a Kill 'Em All Ride the Lightning Halloween show a couple years ago. It was so fun. It was a rager. And I feel like too, living in the Bay Area, it's like you're living in Metallica's backyard,
Yeah.
It's like those early years of Metallica are still here just because everyone in the scene grew up with them, So it's in those first couple albums too. They shape so much of my songwriting and guitar playing and everything. So it's kind of like I got to go with what personally shaped my playing and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right. Now, speaking of we're talking about, I'm going to switch it up here. Scenes. When you guys first started, I'm going to go back to your bands. You got Exmortus, LA-based band, and Hellfire's SF Bay Area band. Two different scenes. I mean, the scene in the Bay Area is a lot different now than it was in the 80s. But it seems like in LA, the scene is more popping, like in early 2000s to now. I mean, Conan, when you first started Exmortus, you were competing with a lot of metal bands out there. I mean, how did you guys get noticed to a label? What did you guys do that you think all the other bands that you were like in the same league with trying to reach that, how would you say, label attention? Is there anything you guys did that made you stood out?
I don't know. I think, well, at first we always did stand out because, well, where we grew up and started at was in Whittier, and the scene in Whittier was like mostly hardcore. This we were, you know, competing against that stuff, and we stood out naturally because we did. What do we do at first? We were more like black and death metal, kind of thrashy at first. We're like, interesting how we changed too. We still have elements of death metal, of course, but now we're a little more thrashy. But anyways, we were competing against the hardcore scene and metalcore scene too. So we stood out already, and I think that our struggle was to get more, just, you know, people to be into what we're doing since we stood out so much. So yeah, I don't know. I think we just continued. We just played as many shows as we could. You know, it didn't matter the band style or whatever. We just played as many shows as we could. And sure enough, you know, people from that scene started to like us. You know, not so much. You know, there's elitists everywhere, and especially in LA. We're notorious for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We just try to be different, and we were naturally different at first. But then when the thrash scene came out, the resurged, not came out, of course, at its peak, we tried to be a little different purposely as well. You know, try to be a little more death metal or more shreddy, more classical here and there. You know, now we're a little more classical, but yeah, we just tried to be a little different. You know, and we were just fortunate enough to have Marco Barbieri
Yeah.
enjoy what we're doing as well, and believe in us, and he helped us out with everything else, you know, connections and everything, getting in contact with labels, and yeah, you know, promoting us that way.
So did you get signed through Marco, or did you get signed through yourself, like from playing shows and passing out demos?
Well, at first, yeah, we did that way. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We did it that way, the old school way, and then from that, you know, Marco picked up on us after that. But yeah, he helped out way more than if we did it on our own.
Yeah. How about you, Tony? You guys are self-released band, right? You guys do everything on your own.
No, well, we're on Writing Easy Records now.
Okay.
So, but the first we put out Metal Masses on our own, and then we put out our second album, Free Again, on our own, and then Writing Easy repressed it for us. But yeah, I mean, at first, just like you were saying in Conan, it was just the grind. It was printing, it was doing, you know, paying for our recordings, and just like I was doing, and then like doing all the graphic layouts, setting up photo shoots with our friends, like doing everything, you know, like sending them out to, just making connections, sending them out to European magazines and people, you know, especially when we were first putting them out, it's just like I had record shops from Europe email me like, I need, you know, I want 60 CDs, and I was like, oh fuck, like, how much is that going to cost? Like, I didn't know any of this stuff. It was like mind-boggling at first, and just the grind too of just playing shows and getting your feet wet and getting used to it. Because I think at least for us when we were younger, and we like Will Storks, and he knows it, we went and tried to record our first record with him, and we just like plugged into our amps, and we're like headbanging and like doing like that's how we thought we were gonna record. Like, right, you know, yeah. like we were so off time, like all over the place. So it was like wake up call, and just turning into better musicians, and just doing the grind of playing, and then like doing those tours by yourself where you're playing in the middle of Nebraska to like 5 people, just grinding it out. And then you know, getting people like you guys, Ted, like Death Angel bands we looked up to, asking us to like, hey, you guys want to support us at Slim's? Or like, you know, Gary Holt, he's a huge one. We've done some great shows with Exodus, with him just like reaching out, you know, and just kind of I think as long as you stay in it, and you're having a good time, and you're doing the grind and putting the work in, it's like people see that. And same with labels, you know, that's when we got signed on Writing Easy, it was nice to have that support now, you know, to where I'm not stressing in my garage, sending like just about all that stuff, and can kind of like put a little more focus back on just writing our music.
Gotcha. You guys, I mean, Conan, especially you're with a label, you got management. Is it something you let go and just say, I'll let management deal with it, I don't want to be involved? Or are you involved in a lot of the day-to-day stuff as well?
Yeah, Mark and I, we talk a lot about, what we want to do, and, he keeps me updated with anything, any opportunities that come up, and ultimately he wants us to be okay with it. So he's not like just, deciding shit on his own. But yeah, even then, like, I'd rather not deal with like some other shit that I'm not even good at. Like, I have no idea. I mean, I would love to learn, but it's a lot of the stuff in the business. It's like you have to decide like now. There's no fucking time to learn. You are learning now, So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather not do any of that shit. I'd rather just honestly just want to jam. I just want to write, record, and that's all I want to do. But sometimes you gotta do more. You gotta do that pushes your band to the next level. So you have to like, well, for starters, when we started, we had to sell tickets. Yeah, we were broke. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So we did so many ticket sale shows, pay to play, whatever. It's kind of like a prerequisite for any band, unfortunately. But that shows you, dedication. And also shows you members that don't have what it takes, unfortunately. And other things, of course, in recording process too. Some members just don't practice enough. So you got to push yourself to to limit, and that just makes you a better person, better musician, and shows success. So yeah, sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah. I like being involved with the whole thing. Everyone has their thing. I like to know, why are we doing that? Why aren't we doing that? Or just a lot of trial and error stuff. Sometimes you do things, that didn't work, but you learn from it. I get a kick off what goes behind the scenes, and learn and stuff like that, because no one knows it better than yourself. Basically, no one knows the band better than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it does help when you have a good team who really supports you and you could trust and all that. But I think like we always talk on the road, like a whole basketball team. Yeah, you could have the Jordan doing everything, but without Jordan, without Pippen and all that stuff,
there is. Yeah, it's true. Oh yeah,
the team wouldn't be. Now, I want to get to this. Like, before the pandemic, I know Hellfire was about to go to Europe. Right, Tony?
Mm-hmm.
And Conan, you've been to Europe the first one time, am I correct?
Twice.
Like, I always like to ask people, especially when either they're going to Europe for the first time, because I remember my first time going like 19 years ago, my first trip overseas. And Conan, what was your first time in Europe? What did you think of it?
I had a blast. I mean, well, for me, it was really awesome because the bands we toured with, we all knew each other. We had known each other for a while, and it was just so it was so chill, and the crowds were awesome, and it was just so cool because it's kind of like home, but it's a lot like older. Like, there's an older building, so there was a lot of awesome sightseeing places everywhere, and the food was great. At least, there was no spicy food really, so that was a downer for me. But regardless, I have an open mind when it comes to food. It was amazing. I had a great time. It was
your favorite country.
Since I'm a classical fucking geek, I loved Austria for sure. I loved Vienna. That was a treat. I visited Beethoven's grave and all that stuff. So yeah, that was a real treat for me. But I guess show wise, I don't know, man. There's some really cool shit in like London, Paris, all the cities in Germany were pretty cool. I don't know, man. It's hard to pick.
Tony, I know you guys. I mean, it sucks that things got held off, but I remember we were in Europe, and I sent you a photo that you guys were playing this club in Austria.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was like, what, we were playing this venue. I saw this big poster of Hellfire. I had to take a photo and send it to you. But I hope when things open up that we get back to doing what we do. So we, I'd love for Hellfire to experience Europe. I love fucking for you guys to go out there and kick ass. Fucking for everyone to go out there and kick ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Our
just go ahead.
over to next You know, our tour just got pushed over to next year, like everything else. So we'll see how hopefully stuff calms down and we can be back over there. You know.
Cool. Couple more questions. I'm gonna ask you one question, and we're gonna take a fan question. What do you guys do other than music? Do you have hobbies and whatnot? I think Tony, you don't you do any like dog fostering or something?
Yeah. Well, I grew up riding BMX and racing motocross since I was like 3 years old. So I'm always riding bikes. Do that. I'll get all superstitious and I try to take it easy before we got a tour or recording coming up. So I'm like, last thing I need to do, break a hand or something, you know? Yeah. And then me and my fiance, Tara, we work with fosters a lot. So we work with a company called California Pitbull Rescue.
Oh,
so,
nice.
So we foster a lot of dogs, and we'll see if we're going to be doing some more, because the last we had a foster failure where we have another dog again, so we just adopted another dog.
Okay.
But we moved into a bigger spot a couple weeks ago, so that makes it a lot nicer. And so I mean, for me, it's bike riding, fostering dogs, you know, play video games too. Me and Mike play. And then Tara's in the middle of starting up a podcast right now where
nice.
Called Heavy Metal Barking Lot.
Barking Lot.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we're just trying to get a decent amount of episodes under the belt before releasing it. So we're kind of interviewing people in foster and heavy metal musicians, stuff like that also foster. So have a good mix of musicians and people in foster and everything like that, you know. See, I got him right here.
Yeah. That's nice. That's awesome, dude. Conan, what do you do? Like, other than music, like, do you have any crazy hobbies? You play video games, right?
I play video games. Yeah, I'll play on my PS4. I'll fucking just, I don't know. I don't really do much else aside from music. I guess I'll read books. I've been so busy lately, strangely enough, this year. You think I'd have more time to read, but I haven't actually been reading as much as I should, which is unfortunate. But one of my hobbies is, for sure, that's strange, is learning and studying languages, because I'm a Tolkien nerd, so I love Lord of the Rings and shit. And studying Tolkien, how he invented languages, and he knew some, you know, it was so awesome to me as a kid. So that I always like to like dabble in other languages. So when I went to Europe, I communicated as much as I could in French, Spanish, of course, Italian, and even German. And I mean, I got around okay. So I try to like keep my practice up with that. So I like to buy books in, you know, the set, you know, any given language, and read it, and watch, you know, movies in those languages, so I could, you know, practice and sharpen my mind a bit. So yeah, that's one weird hobby of mine that I like to do.
Hey man, that's actually a good hobby. All right. I'll take a fan question. Probably another stump one. Probably stumped you guys again.
Yeah.
It's from Rocco Chris. Do you prefer live or the studio?
Live, for sure.
Live?
Yeah, live, for sure.
I'm gonna have to be with you guys on that. I prefer live myself. I mean, the studio's cool. The only thing I like about the studio, I mean, I like the end result.
yeah.
But you know, having to, you know, just, you know, like right now my wife's editing some video, you know, I won't say, but just having to hear it over and over again and trying to do different things. You know how guys is in the studio. All right, over, and by the time the final product comes out and someone with fresh ears heard it, you're like, this is killer, and you're like, oh dude, I'm tired of it. Like, you want to take it, you want to take it to the road now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I prefer live as well. Yeah, I mean, so, but hey, guys, thank you for joining this live stream. I really appreciate it. I missed both of you, man, and we had some good times on that tour. And I hope we could. And we were supposed to do it again, but you know, we postponed or something happened. But I hope we get to do it again. But before we leave, I want to give you guys the floor. promote your band, what's going on, your socials. The floor is yours. Whoever wants to go first.
Get it, Conan.
Okay, so yeah, man, follow us on. We'll just go to exmortusmusic.com. All the fucking social media links are there, and yeah, click on any of them and see what we're doing lately. We're not doing much, honestly, but you know, we post merch sales here and there, and we're in the works of making streaming available at some point. It's expensive, and we're working our way there and trying to figure out all that technical stuff. But yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna be streaming sometime this year. And yeah, man, hit us up on our pages, and yeah, man, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, same for us. We're you can just go to our website, hellfiremetal.com, and that's kind of our handle on everything, like Instagram, Hellfire Metal, anything like that. Keep up to date. We released a single after that tour we did with footage from the tour and stuff like that, just to kind of get something out. And we'll probably be doing a lot more stuff soon. Like I said, now kind of getting my home studio set up. We will do some more live videos of us working on stuff and demoing ideas and stuff, because I know we'll all just be getting together a lot more now and kicking it into high gear, And yeah, you can reach us at any of those. And yeah, we're kind of in limbo.
Yeah, all of us in limbo. And all you viewers who are starting out guitar, if you want to get some good shred lessons, hit up Conan. You won't be disappointed. So yeah, this guy is a good. I was fortunate enough to sit with him on tour, him and Tony, and watch him shred.
I need to hit him.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So if you guys want to learn some tricks, I mean, if you want to go past like if you want to do some classical stuff, check out Conan. If you want to do some new wave of British heavy metal and some good harmonies, check out Tony. You guys won't be disappointed, and check out their bands. Guys, thank you very much. Stick around when it ended. We could hang out for a bit, but I want to thank all the viewers watching, everyone who submitted some questions and whatnot, and I hope everyone has a killer Saturday and weekend, and we'll see you soon.